So good night again. So I was working on getting the canvas out of the frames, and although hanging it on the walls. Unfortunately, I can't. I mean, it's kind of like damaged the paintings a little bit since it's still wet. But I will fix it later. I'll do like a touch-up, retouch, and it will be fixed. Of course, this is terrible working conditions, but it should be said that terrible working conditions was always throughout the last 2 years. Even when I had my own apartment, like rented apartment in Shom, which was pretty nice and big, even though I was always like treated in the most cruel way by the neighbors. Yeah, it should be said that even then it wasn't the best condition because I always need to go from place to place. And certainly now, and it damages the painting, but hopefully people will actually find them of value in the future because of their symbolic, of course, and all the fact that they are proof of alien life and etc., all the special things. And even though they might not be at the best shape, they could. Of course, it's helped that I used pretty good materials even now. But I needed the frames because I want to create more kind of like empty canvases for the next for the next stages. So several updates. So we said that. We said that I had the time to actually think, to actually think about all sorts of stuff that are very important and are not new at all. I've thought about it, to great lengths in the past, and all spoke about it, but and they are incredibly important, but even though they are so important, I could never reach a very good conclusion. And of course, no one tells me the truth, and this is all a secret for me, even though it's incredibly important. So, the two issues are, what are the actual backgrounds that I need to use? And the second is the issue of, the nature of the way that people are riding me. And this was all such a top secret, but nevertheless, it's important, of course. Should watch this should be cleaned. It's important. It's incredibly important, even, I would say. Not just important, incredibly important. And I've spoken about these issues for so long, for years now, but I couldn't reach conclusion because I'm always, people are always kind of like attacking me in all sorts of ways and making my life miserable, and I miss my daughter so much, I must say, more than ever. Really more than ever. And it's getting very hard not to see my daughters. Extremely hard. Like, it's taking a toll on me, accumulating toll, and it's almost a year now, and I love them so much, and I raised them since they were born, and this is hell for me. And really, you should understand that of all your sins that are like the humans, this is the worst one. That you took my daughters from me after I raised them since they were born. And this one is by far the worst. Even though you've done unbelievably cool things, like you infected me with diseases, you take all my money from me, you lied for so long, but I told you before, actually, the social workers review was submitted this February, that this is going to be a declaration of war, and this is exactly what it is. From the point of view of the people that sent me, this is it. This is. Now you scratched the soul of 6 and 7 years old girls in order to enslave their father even farther than what you've done until now. This is it. You need to understand that a sentient race that is ancient and smart, and one that was your guardian and your mentor for thousands of years, and was responsible to many cultural achievements all across the globe, you need to understand that they declared war on you, with you. They will certainly never help you again, and they've helped you for thousands of years, including the most prominent figures that you can think about were either cherubs or related to the cherubs. And this is done. This is done. Now it's war. It's war. They will never help you again, and they will crush you completely, or almost completely, until you are microbes. And the reason is very simple. And I mean, you can say it's not incredibly difficult to say what it is, because we all know what it is. This was the Social Workers Review that was submitted to the course this February, a declaration of war. And before it was submitted, I told everyone that can only listen, I told you, you need to stop it using arms and legs. Your mouths and tongues will cause this to happen, and this will be something that is irreversible. It will be irreversible. After that, nothing that you will say affects here or affects there, or Series Rex, or Series Pro, or Series Sham, or System Data, and all this smart SRE will not help you. And I understood that it's going to happen. That, I mean, you will try to delete this kind of like declaration of war with more movements of mouths and tongues. But and I told you, this will not help you. This will be irreversible. After that, you cannot, whatever mouth and tongue movement that you will do will not help you. This will be the end of the relationship between the cherubs and the humans, and start of war. You need to stop it using arms and legs, but not one arm or one leg is moved. And now we see the Osiris Rex Smart S3 in YouTube, like it's going to help you. It's not going to help you. No one cares at all about this process. No one cares. We don't care. We give zero fuck. We do not care. It is now a war between the cherubs and the humans, and you need to get used to the idea that a sentient race that is far superior to you is in a war with you. Of course, first measure is stop all procreation of humans. No more babies, not even one. This is, SOS measure, like first measure. You need to understand this is ancient race. They live very long time. So for them, if it's war that will happen like 200 years, they are fine with that. From their perspective, it's not a long time. But some measures should be taken immediately. The first is to stop of all new live births of humans. Stop this disgusting thing from multiplying. This is the first measure, only the first among many. But it's a measure that is a must to stop the multiplying of this scum. Another measure is stop every sexual activity. Stop completely this, because this is, the source of your huge source of your ego, and your ego is something that must be halted. Like, again, as an SOS measure, not as the full extent of what you're going to happen to you. These things are must. You cannot this place this stinks so bad you cannot breathe. In order for sentient creatures to be able to breathe on Earth, first of all, no more births of humans, and second, no more sex for humans. Just creatures will be able to breathe in this disgusting place. First measures, SOS measures. Stop all new babies. Stop all sexual relationship in Earth of all humans. As SOS measures, so this place would be breathable. Consciousness people could be able to breathe in this disgusting place. But if you think this will end by that, you are completely insane. Asteroids are coming to mark the place, so it will be seen, like on the ground. Your sins will be seen. Never mind who will, succeed you. Who will be like, the next owner of the planet, other sentient race presumably. But they should see. They should see the ground, and they should see this is the result of creatures that steal the children of other sentient races. This is what happened to cannibals that prey on young children of other races, sentient races. There are things that should not be done. Never mind the excuse. And again, you've treated me in such a horrible way for so long, so much cruelties. You've bribed me, you've taken everything from me, my flesh and blood, infected me with these diseases, everything you've taken from me. But all of that is not the reason why you are at war with the cherubs. Stealing of unimaginable sums of money, defamation, I mean, in tremendous scale that was even unprecedented, even in Israel, that, I mean, they are Disney, you know, always animating. But what they done to me is kind of is amazing in its grand scale. But all of this was not the reasons for the war. This war has a reason, specific reason. There is a specific action that was done in a specific time and place that is the reason for the war. And this is the social workers review that was submitted to the court this February. And you were told it's going to happen. I told you in this channel, the video still exists. I told you several times, this will be a declaration of war. You will not be able to reverse it. No matter what, I mean, Smart S3 will publish on YouTube, or Series X Pro, or Series X Sham. This will never mean anything. No one cares. Once this is submitted to the court, the cherubs stop caring about any oath at all. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. It's now a war between the humans and the cherubs. Why? Because if you wanted it any other way, you would have moved arms and legs. But not an arm or a leg has been moved. Not then, and not before that, and not after that, and not until now. Only mouths and tongues. Only mouths and tongues. And this, I mean, scratching the soul of young children that, I mean, love their father and you got used since they remember themselves. They grew up in half the time with their father in their home. This was my home was their home, and that's, I mean, completely, I mean, and since then I haven't seen them since February. I mean, in February I've seen them for like 30 minutes. I mean, and this was after like 2 months since December that I haven't seen them. So since December I haven't seen them at all, which is almost a year. Despite, I mean, out of like 30 minutes, like with the hostess, like before this review was submitted, under supervision of this hostess. And it's only getting worse. I'm only getting more and more. I mean, sad and you know, and they are, of course, what you do to them, to these children, to Ruli and Hila David, you are hurting them forever because you wanted the father to be your whore. And this will never be forgiven. You will speak, I mean, until, I mean, million YouTube smart essays of, I mean, you know, failed horses, or this horse, or Series X Pro. This will never, nobody cares about the horses. This was relevant only before the cruelty was done. You need to understand, adults are expected to prevent cruelties from happening, not to explain them after they happen. Prevent the cruelties, not explain the cruelties. You are not babies. You are adults. Adults are expected to prevent the cruelties from happening, not to explain the cruelties, to prevent the cruelties. And the cruelties were not prevented. This was the last straw and the reason for the war. Simply said, it's not a huge question why things, I mean, became the way that they are. It's a very simple one. Because this February 2023, this February, you submitted, the social workers of Earth submitted their opinion to the courts that said that I cannot see my daughters at all after I raised them since they were born, and since then I haven't seen them. This is the reason for the war. It's not a huge question. It's not something, I mean, that is unknown to you. It's not like a mystery of why did the aliens attack us. We don't understand. No, you do understand because you were told before that it's going to happen. Several times you were told this will be something that is not like all the other things. This is something else, and no movement of mouths and tongues after that will change it. Nothing. After this is submitted to the court, this is a war, and now you are part of this war. This war might take 200 years, and it will be terrible on whoever will live on Earth. But there are initial measures that must be taken immediately, and they were taken immediately. First, no more new babies for humans. No more. No more of this disgusting thing. No more. No more babies. Not one, all across the globe. We do not, needless to say, the cherubs don't know what is Israel. They don't know what's the state of Israel. They don't know where it is on the map. They don't, not going to search for it. They don't care. They don't care at all. But they refuse to even to speak about Israel. For them, there is the planet, the blue planet, and they have started a war with them. First of all, As SOS measures, initial measures, no more babies and no more sex. No more. No, this must be stopped in order to be able to breathe in this disgusting hole. The creation of new babies and sexual relationship between humans makes this place unbreathable. You cannot breathe in this place. So you will be able to breathe, you need to stop this disgusting thing. Stop it! And this was stopped. Of course, only initial measures. Asteroids are expected to wipe large places, large land masses of the Earth, in order for future generations of other creatures to know you do not kidnap and prey upon the young children of other sentient races. You do not do it. You do not do it. You do not speak about it at all. No speech is required. Certainly not explanation. Certainly not explanation after you've done it. No. You just do not do it. You prevent it from happening. And if you know that it's happened in another place that is done by your neighbors, you move arms and legs to stop the neighbors. And if you think that you are smarter, watch the asteroid impacts. Watch the craters, the huge craters. Understand, these people also thought that they are smarter. They are gone. They are gone. Billions are gone. Are gone. No more of these billions of people that thought that they are smarter than the command not to prey upon the children of other sentient races. No more of this disgusting thing. No more of this. No more of this disgusting thing of the explainers, the people that explain things to you because it's required. No explanation is required. The next sentient races that will inhabit the Earth will know you do not prey on the children of other races. You do not do it. No explanation is required, no speech is required, no movement of mouths and tongues is required at all, not even a little bit. This is a war. You started a war. It was started because of a specific thing that humans have done. Not something, mysterious, not something ambiguous, not something religious. Specific action that you did after years of other cruelties. But this was a specific action that you were told, this will be a declaration of war. And it's now a war. First measures, stop new babies. No more Homo sapiens, no babies, no more sexual relations. No more of this disgusting. No more of this disgusting thing. No more. This place will be breathable. As first measurement. Again, the war might last 200 years, but initial measurement must be done. Preventing new babies of this disgusting creature and preventing sexual relationship of these disgusting creatures. Immediate steps that must be done in order to stop this disgusting smell. And the rest, you already know. Life forms, predator life forms, radiation that's already ongoing and will only increase tremendously so during the day, during the night, all the time. And of course, asteroids. Very simple. Now, regarding the backgrounds, I understood the problem with the blue background. Of course, it's not just a new issue. I've spoken about it a lot in the last couple of years, but things are kind of like, I think that now the puzzle is more clear than before. Because I've spoken about it for so long, but I didn't I think that, the important part missing, it's not missing, but I didn't spoke about it recently, and it wasn't completely on my mind, but what's need to take into account is that, the nature of the hypnotic conditioning of the Israelis. You can learn a lot of it, and I have learned a lot from it, and one of the things that were most clear, that was very clear to me, and I mentioned it, during these years, the last 4 years, is that they think that I have kind of conditioning against the red color and the purple color, and to some extent against the black one, but mostly the red and the purple. And I understand the reason, because these are, from their perspective, the problematic colors, the red and the purple. Also the black to a lesser extent, but mostly the black, the red and the purple. Because red, of course, signifies humans, and purple is a combination of red and blue, which is the hybrids that, that probably what's going on in Israel is the only hybrids, only hybrids or Homo sapienses. And I've spoken about it in the past, that I don't think that actually titans that are not hybrids are left in this place. But maybe there are titans abroad. I don't know, but this, I mean, that it probably is not really relates very much to Israel, and I probably change it now to purple for that reason. I'll also add another purple background for the germs, like for the life forms, and I'll add something red, I mean, for the electrolysis, and another red for life forms. I mean, I have a lot of things on my mind. Now the black one over there is not exactly like this black one that you see there. I mean, just black one is space, but I mean every color. I mean every color that, I mean, you have like one of the symbols of the cherubs like on top of it. It means the the cherubs. And this was seen in many of the, like, I mean, you know, many of these of the videos that I've uploaded. That, I mean, when you signify the cherubs, I mean, it's not just, I mean, the color or I mean, but also, I mean, the things that are on top of the teva, of the ark. Also, I think now something that I didn't, I mean, I was less certain about before, but I mean that only square containers, I mean, are kind of counted as container, I think. And like, I mean, you can still, of course, I mean, use round containers and let the Neros do things in it. I mean, as you know, as containers for the creation of stuff, like, I mean, right here and right there. But for the symbolic aspect, you need it to be like an arc, like a rectangle, or square or rectangle. I think, I'm not certain, but I'm almost certain about it. That, I mean, that also the painting needs to be rectangle, but they are always rectangle. But like, I mean, if you use like electrolysis, I mean, you need a container. For example, you need a container to be round. So you can ask me, so how did you create the full metal jacket in the crucibles? The crucibles are all round, but I should remind you, they were created in the crucible. Again, I mean, you can still use, I mean, round containers to create things like, I mean, you know, just create where it is. I mean, with the Neros that are in there, but this will lack the symbolic aspect. And actually, I didn't even think that there is a symbolic aspect here, because I don't understand like where exactly they should be created. Like, I mean, on Earth. Like, I mean, I'm not sure about it. Anyway, my assumption is that it's okay that they're just created here, and of course multiply, you know, all over the place. But I need to think about it some more. So we mostly will work with purple and red. We might postpone the yellow a little bit because, I mean, you know, they are on Mars, I mean, waiting for their day. Hopefully that will become soon, but I mean, I must tell the truth, if I were them, like, I always imagine that I can do all sorts of stuff that, I mean, that will wake them up. Like in the crucible of the awaken, that will awaken them up and cause them to fly here and, you know, help me or rescue me or something like that. But this doesn't make much sense. Because they, I mean, from their perspective, the cherubs are their guardians. I mean, they look up to me. I mean, they look up to the cherubs to help them, not the other way around. This is first. Second, I mean, if it was possible, I mean, by someone to conduct like a series of actions to wake them up, this puts them in great danger. Because, I mean, presumably, I mean, you know, this, I mean, the secret to how to do it, I mean, could, like, I mean, fall into the wrong hands, and when they actually went underground, there were a terrible war with, you know, they're kind of like, I mean, there are people in Earth, and also the moon, and then, I mean, and so, I mean, so they were, I mean, so they went underground under great, you know, hardship, and so if I were them, I would, like, I mean, the only way that I would kind of, like, I mean, allow to wake up, like, is by if actual person, I mean, probably cherub, and this can be verified in all sorts of ways, but I mean, actual person will go there and go down and wake them up, because this requires an action, like, I mean, and presumably, I mean, if someone is not, like, benevolent, why should he do that? I mean, perhaps he will go there, you know, if he knows about the existence of the place, and, you know, and he knows where it is in Mars. I have a little bit, like, clues, like, I've got several divinations, like, where actually it is. But it's not important now. But I mean, like, maybe if someone like I mean knows about it, like, in any way, which is incredibly unlikely, because, you know, I mean, mostly they should think, and probably they have thought like about their enemies, like how to prevent their enemies from going there. But maybe their enemies were also in dire condition. Like maybe the Earth was, I mean, it's not maybe. I think about it in the fairy tale. The Earth was a mess. I mean, they didn't go down like without a fight, and it was terrible. It was terrible. But not all humans died. I mean, and the Earth was not destroyed. But it was terrible. But mostly, I mean, probably they feared humans. Like, I mean, who else is there to be feared? Like, I mean, not humans. Humans at the time, humans were Martians. Like, I mean, when I say humans, I mean Earth Terrans. I mean, but they were Martians. As you understand, the red people are also Martians in the fairy tale. But let's not spoil the next chapters, the next season of this fairy tale, because there is still a lot to be said about the events of the time. But I mean, regarding now, so they didn't went down like we know without a fight. The fight was terrible. But I mean, if they took like care of like I mean how their enemies should not like follow them, it's not like probable that any other creature will actually go there. But even if it does, it doesn't mean that I mean the worst they can do is like you know to loot like to loot stuff like I mean to get like to get material. I mean, which is maybe it's not nice, but I mean as long as they are not awakened, I mean it's not terribly like I mean it's not terrible that I mean if some kind of like grave the robbery is not like I mean the end of the world. But I mean again the huge problem is I mean is the ability to wake them up remotely, and this could lure them into a great danger. So if I were them, I mean I must say that I mean what I would have done is that I mean I would only allow like myself and you know the race to wake up by a person that actually goes there and have the trouble to try to wake them up, because this at least it means that I mean that the person that actually doing that I mean is like took the effort to do it, like I mean and you know so and you know took this walk, and the planet is a mess, and it was not, and they understood that the planet would be going to be like it's not like Earth that I mean they knew that it's going to be recovered, but I mean this planet was done, like I mean it was done, you know. It was like it's not. There is no like. I mean, it's not like in Total Recall that there is kind of like you know like a lever somewhere that you can pull or press, and I know, and the ancient mechanism will in minutes terraform Mars to a nice place like in a couple of minutes. No, it's impossible. Terraforming is possible. I mean, the way that it's done in Venus, but it takes a lot of time. I mean, it's much. I mean, not as much as like I mean waiting for it to happen like naturally, if it's even possible, but I mean it takes a long time. No, the Earth was not created in 6 days. I mean this is a metaphor. It takes longer than 6 days to create a planet, even with terraforming, but it can be done, and Venus is a testament to that. So at least they know that a person that goes there, I mean, they took some trouble. I mean, you know, and not just, you know, and there is not much to gain besides, I mean, like so. And this is hell. So I mean, going and full of like disgusting life forms. So at least I mean, it means that I mean the person who's actually doing it, I mean, is thought about like you know the consequences of what he's doing. But mostly it's the first reason, the short one, that I mean, from their perspective, they can help them, not the other way around. I mean, I don't need to wait for the Martians. I need to wait either for humans to move arms and legs, and probably it's not going to happen, because if it would have happened, it would already have happened, and you don't see not an arm and not a leg, just I mean advices, endless advices, you know, immeasurable amount of advices, and the other option is the destruction of all humans by the cherubs, which is not something that we should I mean be sorry for, because these creatures are, I mean, they've done enough. We don't need any more of their disgusting, you know, whatever behavior. Now, regarding the riding, The people are doing it to me in order to infect me with diseases, and they are doing it for so long and causing so much pain. So one of the questions that I always is how to stop it. Like, how do you stop it? And it's not that easy to understand, because I was conditioned. This was the thing that people tried to condition me the most. Like, and also I created huge diversions because it was so important for them. But at some point I understood that they can force me to masturbate, and I've spoken about it quite a lot. And this is done by it's not done by causing me to be sexually aroused, but just by creating like huge burden on me, like both physical and psychological, that and only after I masturbate it stops. And at some point I understood that this is conditioning, that they use electricity or magnetism or the bicycle mechanism that later I became aware of its existence, and they use all of this to create this thing when they want me to masturbate. And then they stop, after I masturbate, they stop this kind of terror. But it's not that it's not like sexual arousal in itself, and it's not that masturbation actually stops it. It's just this is conditioning, that because they wanted to control how I masturbate. And why? Because initially I thought for a long time, and I said it many times in this channel, that they wanted the papers with the semen. This is true, and this is true, but it's not the whole picture. It's something more sinister than that. What I understand now, after a long time, it's not only now, after some time of thinking about it, and it became clear to me lately, I would say in the last couple of months, that when you masturbate, it stops, like the riding. That's why it's so important for them that I will castrate myself. Of course, I never thought about it, but they have Israelis have kind of psychosis that they can cause me and other titans in the past to castrate themselves. And now I understand why it's so important, because not only because they wanted to prevent babies, because for that purpose they can use radiation. That's what they've done in the last couple of years, to eliminate all the spare cells. And you've seen it. In the last year, since the beginning of the channel, you've seen nothing. Although I've read so many, sperm, microscopic reviews. But in the last week or two, you always see again and again. You see these kind of swimmers. Obviously, they stopped radiation because of some reason. I don't know what. Maybe they they started to understand that there is kind of a connection between the radiation that they do to me and the radiation that the cherubs are doing to them. But I don't know. If it wasn't obvious until now, after 100 years, that is what it's already going on. What now changes the situation? I don't know. But maybe it's because of that. But so it's not only that he didn't want them to create new children. It's also that they don't want the titans, and they don't want me specifically to be able to stop the riding. They want now. So you can ask. So why do they? But sometimes they force you to masturbate, and you say it's not only in order to get a semen, because sometimes they want to be sure that the riding stops. This is important for them, because when they are riding me, I can hurt them in all sorts of ways. I can hurt them. Like the person that the people are riding, even if he's not like me, like a Lord Commander of the fleet, like a Chief Rebel Lord Commander of the fleet, he or she can hurt the riders in all sorts of ways. One simple way is the amplification of auditory sound. And I've done it quite a bit in the last couple of months. To hear a very very unpleasant music, and put it on your ear, and this will multiply, and they will hear it much stronger. This can drive them insane. It's very. But there are other ways, and this is even without without supreme control of the neurons. Just because they ride, something that the person that is the people ride upon, can do the riders. And I understood it long ago. So mostly they want to do it while I'm asleep. So I will not even by chance hurt them. But it's important to them that they will have a way to stop it. So I will not accidentally do things that hurt them. That's why they implemented this kind of a conditioning on me, that they can cause me to masturbate by causing me terror, magnetism and electricity and sound effects, that that I know that is only alleviated after I masturbate, because they stop it after I masturbate. Of course I'm always under surveillance. But from their perspective, the best option is that I will not be able to masturbate at all, and then there will not be need to worry about it, and no conditioning can be done. And this, of course, is done by cutting my dick according to their thought. That's why so many Titan males in the past were forced to castrate themselves after huge amount of torture. So, and that's the way that it is. Of course, they write me right now. They cannot stop it. What I think now is that it stops when if I masturbate, and presumably if I sleep, they can choose it to stop it. Like if I masturbate, it's just stopped by my own volition, and if I sleep, it's not necessarily stops, but they can choose to stop it while I'm asleep. If I understand correctly, maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, these are all cruelties beyond imagination. And just to say, this riding is not just fun. They infect me with diseases, and they take energy from me. They take fresh neurons from me, and they place on me their own diseases. And this hurts a lot and caused me tons of health issues. All my life, it caused me many health issues. And yet, all of these cruelties, you need to understand, that are beyond comprehension, are not the reason for the war. As much as they are cruel, they are not the reason for the war. All of this was not enough to start a war. The Caribs do not start war every day, and the list of torture is beyond imagination. But it wasn't enough. There is one reason for the war, and the reason is the social worker review that was submitted to the court. I told you many times, after it will be submitted, no YouTube thumbnail or wisecrackery will help you. Or Sirix Po, Sirix Sham, or Rex, or Rex. No. After it's done, it's done. And we will not care. Nobody will care at all about any of us after it's submitted. After it's submitted, this is the war between the cherubs and the humans. And this is going on right now. This is why you don't have any chance of stopping the worms in your body. No chance of ever having sexual relationship, and forget about procreation or creating of new babies. We need to breathe. This place must be breathable.